You're now listening to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. Straightforward, no nonsense business advice. Completely unfiltered. Grow your business. Grow your life. Now, here's your host, Brian Fullerton.
Hello, I'm Marty, Brian's podcast producer, and we are changing things up a little bit on today's program. And I think you're going to like it, especially if you're in the snow removal business. We are about to listen to the audio from several of Brian's YouTube videos off the Brian's Lawn Maintenance channel. Now, the first one is from a video called How We Price Snow Removal, 100% transparent pricing. Brian provides an in-depth look at how his business prices its snow removal services. He'll be covering the 4 key pricing components: plow price, sidewalks, bulk salt, and ice melt, and explaining how to calculate seasonal and per push rates. Listen up. It's certainly going to help you get your pricing right for the upcoming season.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Brian here. Hope you guys are doing well. Welcome to another video helping you guys grow a more successful lawn and landscaping business so you guys can go out there and crush it. Today, want to spend some time with you guys on how we get our snow plowing pricing and help you guys out with growing your lawn and landscaping business. A lot of you guys obviously cut grass. You guys do landscaping. You guys are getting into snow removal more and more, myself included, over the last couple of years. What I wanted to talk about is how we are growing our business and how we're pricing out the jobs that we're bidding on. In fact, a lot of you guys have picked up the snowplow contracts at lawnpreneuracademy.com. Those are selling great. Thank you guys for the support. $99 if you guys need great commercial and residential snowplow contracts. But what I wanted to do is take a pen to paper, actually show you guys how we're bidding out our snowplow pricing and how we're getting our seasonal totals, how we are coming up with our per push rates. All this stuff is baked into those contracts. And I'll also leave you guys with another great resource, the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast episode that we did just about 2 weeks ago on Monday. We spelled out line item by line item how we came up with these prices, but also baked about another half dozen topics of FAQs and some blind spots that we just don't have time to get into on today's YouTube video. So if you guys want to check out a 45-minute to an hour-long podcast where we talked about all things snow, I'll try to link that here in the description down below. And maybe this video and that podcast can help you guys out further. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take pen to paper, show you guys how we get our 4 quadrants of pricing, try to keep this video short and sweet in nature. By the time we're done, if you guys get anything out of this, or hey, if this is just helpful because I'm transparent with our snow pricing, and I'd love to have more YouTube videos out there from all the other different content creators and all the other people who are making videos. I don't see a lot of people talking snow, and I also don't see a lot of people sharing their numbers with snow, and that's totally fine to do. But as an industry, I think we all need to elevate our pricing because we're all giving it away still for pennies on the dollar compared to what I think we're all worth. So by the time we're done with this video, if you guys get anything out, big thumbs up, super appreciate that. You guys also know how that helps the algorithm. And then number 2, anything you guys can weigh in on the conversation. Love hearing from you guys, what you're doing out there, what you're getting for a sidewalk, what you're getting for a 1 acre parking lot, what you're getting for your bulk salt prices or your ice melt applied. If you got any tips or comments, leave that down below in the comment section and we can all win and grow together. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to switch over here. We're going to talk about the 4 quadrants about how we get our snow plowing pricing. It's very, very simple. We bid all of our commercial sites this way. So there's 4 prices that I want to help you guys get to. Number 1, we've got our plow price. Number 2, we've got our sidewalks. Number 3, we've got our bulk salt. And number 4, we've got our ice melt. Now, here's what I will tell you. We are bidding all of this on a 45-inch annual snowfall total. That's what we get here in Metro Detroit, Michigan. So that's where we're going to be working off of these numbers. So that being said, if we have 45 inches of snow, and we get divided by 3, which is our average snowfall total, a 3-inch snowstorm, 45 divided by 3 is going to be 15. Okay, 15 is going to be how many plow events we're going to average, and also 15 sidewalk shovels on average. So let's go for an example. Right now, $245 is our base scrape for a 1.5 to 3 inch snow plow event over here in Michigan. If we did 15 events times $245, that brings us a total of $3,675 for plow price. So we might have a client that wants snowplow pricing only, right? Well, here you go. We can get them that snowplow price, and that's based on 15 pushes. Well, hey, what if you live in a market that gets 25 inches of snow? Well, take 25 divided by 45. It gets you 0.65 or whatever the math is on that. And just take 0.65 of all the numbers that I'm coming up with. Or you can work the math backwards on 25 inches of snow divided by 3. Let's say that's 8. So you're going to run these numbers off of 8 plow events versus 15 plow events. Okay. Really, really simple there. So the reason is that the average snowfall is about 3 inches. We're going to go out and plow 15 times. 15 times 245 on a 1 to 3 inch snow event is $3,675. That's our plow price. Now, sidewalks. Why do we do this 4 quadrants? Why do we build this independently? Well, because you might end up sidewalk shoveling more. You might end up sidewalk shoveling less. You might end up having drift snow and there's no plowable event and you just have drift snow by the back doors or the front walkways, or you might plow only and there's no sidewalk shoveling required. There's been times where we, have a 1 inch, 3 inch snowstorm go through and the rear entry, man doors or the front, man door is completely fine. You don't even need the sidewalk shovel. Other times we get a dusting to 1 inch, but there's a 5 inch, wind drift on the back man doors and we have the sidewalk shovel. But let's just say on average, we got 15 sidewalk shovels that we've got to do. And we have all of our pricing in our commercial contract. You can get them at LawnEntrepreneurAcademy.com. But let's say an average sidewalk shoveling is $45. And that's for, again, the 1.5 to 3 inch tier. And on our contracts, we have a 1.5 to 3, 3.1 to 6, 6.1 to 10, 10.1 and above. 10.1 and above is per inch. Our multiplier on that 245 is 1.5. So 245, I think it then goes 365, then 550, and then it's 8250 after that per inch. So 1.5 multiplier. That's how we're getting all those different tiers for what we do. But again, if you take 45, right, times 15, that's $675 for your sidewalk shoveling only. Okay. Now, if we want to, some people don't want salt on their site. Some people don't want ice melt on their site. They just want snow plowing and sidewalk shoveling of the doors. Maybe they do their own salt. Maybe they do it in-house. Maybe they're a hotel or something and they're like, no, we do our own salt. We understand the game. That's fine. Okay. Obviously you make more money in your salt than you do your snow. We'll get into that here in a minute. But what we're going to do to get our plow and walk price is take $36.75 plus the $6.75, and that is going to come up with $43.50. Okay. $43.50 is what we're going to be charging for the plows and for the walks. Everybody with me so far? That's 15 different plows, 15 different sidewalk shovels. Okay. Now, bulk salt. Here's a whole nother conversation that we really went into on the podcast. Bulk salt, most folks, we're going to be taking it and charging 2.5x for it applied. So most guys are buying it for 80, 90, $100 a ton. And what we're going to be doing is charging it at 2 to 2.5x. Quick side note, for anybody getting into the industry and buying a salter, please stop putting bulk salt down at $100, $125, $150 per ton applied. We like to see, as an industry average, right, at least $180, at least $200 per ton applied, preferably $240, $260, $300 a ton applied. Are you going to get that everywhere? Absolutely not. For us personally, we're at about $240 a ton. It just depends on where we're coming in at our actual cost for the ton of bulk salt. So let's say we're doing $240 per ton. Hopefully everybody's still with me. This is really simple stuff. And to get a multiplier, how many salt runs are we doing compared to plow runs? Usually it's a 2-time multiplier. I like to see us rounding up to 2.5 or 2.75. But frankly, if you want to be a little bit more on the conservative side and bid it to get it, take your multiplier times 2. So here, let me give you an example. For the 15 plow runs, we're going to be doing on average 30 salt runs. Again, I like to see that times 2.5 for 37.5 bulk salt applications. So you're going to be salting 37.5 times during the winter season on 45 inches versus, let's say, 30 times. But again, if your bid comes in a little high and they're like, hey, you were close, you can say, hey, we'll salt 30 times. We'll bring that number down. On average, you're putting about 800 to 1,000 pounds down for a 1 acre parking lot. We're bidding it at 2,000 pounds. So there is some margin here. There is some wiggle room. We'll get into that maybe for a whole salt course later on. But just so you know, you are padding stats a little bit on this bulk salt price. So we do have a little bit of a wiggle room. Is it 150 ton applied wiggle room? No. Okay, so let's make sure we keep that in mind. So how are we getting this number? 30 again, $240 per ton applied times 30. What does that give us, folks? Let's do the math together. 240 times 30 is $7,200. $7,200 is going to be our bulk salt quantity. That's the number for us to take care of that parking lot up to 45 inches. So this is all in terms of if a company wants a flat rate seasonal price. This is how we're getting to these 4 quadrants and adding these numbers up. Okay, so hang with me. Similarly, 30 bags of ice melt, 30 visits, just like 30 bulk salt runs, 30 saltings at $30 per bag applied. Anybody who's putting this ice melt down for 12 to 15 bucks a bag, I would highly encourage you to stop it. You're leaving money on the table. 22, 24, 25 minimum. 30 bucks a bag applied would be a lot better. 1 bag of ice melt, about 1,000 square feet. That's, 4 or 5 man entry doors and maybe like the front 100 linear feet or 50 linear feet of a strip mall or a business, a Chick-fil-A, a Chase Bank. Okay. 1 bag. Now, if you take that 30 times 30 is $900. And if we take the $900 plus the $7,200, help me out, mental math, 82, that would be $8,100. All right, so our salt plus ice melt is $8,100. Everybody with me so far? Hopefully I'm working with you guys, you're working with me. $8,100 plus our plow price, right? Plus our sidewalks gives us a grand total of $12,450. All right. I'm not sure if that's high to you guys. I'm not sure if that's low to you guys. Again, leave me some comments down below, but this is how we figure out all of our mental math for all of our sites. Managing 24 different sites here. This is the same numbers we work with everybody. Now, in full transparency, does everybody get bulk salt? No. Does everybody get ice melt? No. Some are plow only sites. Some are full service sites, and those are home runs, and we love those, right? But every single site is different. Some are plow and sidewalks, but they're on call or on demand as needed basis for bulk salt application. A lot of the churches that we take care of, we got a couple of those. They only want salt on Wednesdays and Sundays. Go figure. Okay. So every client is different. We talk a lot of these details and little nuances there and a bunch of other great tips on the podcast episode. If you want some more, check that out. Like I said, I'll leave a link in the description. All right. So as we go back to this 12,450 number, how do we get, that's a seasonal price. Okay, if they want to write a 50% up front and 50% in 2 months, fantastic. If they want to write you a check for $12,450 at the beginning of the season, fantastic. If they want to do 5 flat rate monthly installments, I'm all about that life. That's called making sure that we are guaranteed income. That's $2,490 a month to take care of your site. Okay. Now, again, this is up to 45 inches of snow. So we always let the client know, and this is spelled out in our contract. From the very beginning, we got our customer info, all of our rates, and then a seasonal price. And they can initial A for per push pricing, which means it's all a la carte. Every single thing that's laid out in that contract, what we apply or what we do is what we charge and what we get paid for. But if they want a flat rate monthly price, this is becoming very popular the last couple of years, is December, January, February. Naturally, we'll have the larger inflated snow totals and snow pricings, but it is a sting to the pocketbook, right? So if we can mitigate that, the companies have real budgets. They don't want $5,000 invoices in December and January. I wouldn't either. So instead, if we can ride that out with November and March, we can have 5 equal flat rate monthly billings. Okay, so you're going to do $2,500, in this example that we're billing out for in November and March, but we're only going to have $200 to $600 worth of cost between labor, fuel, salt, and employees, right? In that regard. But again, we're taking the sting out of those $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 invoices perhaps in December, January, and February. Does this make sense? So this has become increasingly enticing to a lot of our commercial accounts, a lot of our HOA accounts, flat rate monthly pricing. Again, right now we're about a 40-60 split. I'd say 40% are flat rate, 60% are still per push. We're moving more customers towards the flat rate monthly more than just the per push. I personally like to have a hybrid system. That way, if it snows, we get paid good. If it doesn't snow, obviously, we're still getting some money coming into the checking account, which helps pay for payroll and the company overhead. Okay. Now, again, this is all for commercial. So at the end of the day, these are our 4 quadrants. Number 1, we've got our plow price, 15 pushes. Number 2, sidewalks, 15 visits. Bulk salt, up to 30 times. I'd like to see that number at 2.5 multiplier. Number 4, ice melt, same thing, 30 bags applied. And you'd also do that at 2.5 multiplier, which would be 37.5 visits. If we went a little bit more on the higher price it, bid it to not get it, or bid it if you get it, great, because you got the best price, a little bit more retail price. These 30 number visits are a little bit more conservative, sharpen the pencil. Hey, let's bid it a little bit more competitively prices, okay? That being said, there's a lot of nuances in here. You could always buy more coverage. We talk about that on the podcast. What happens if it snows 80 inches? Well, on our contract, it says it reverts back to per push pricing after 45 inches of coverage. So if a client's like, hey, what if we get 60 inches of snow? Hey, this right here, this 12.45 that we just budgeted, you're good to go. But if we get a wallop, like Minnesota got last year, I think 80 inches, and they're usually getting 40, 45 inches. If they get that much snow, it reverts to outside of this contract. We go back to that per push, per application, per bulk salt, per sidewalk shovel, per snow plow visit pricing, right? It gets tacked on to the invoicing, obviously, after you hit that threshold of whatever your tier is, up to 25 inches, up to 45 inches, up to 95 inches, okay? That's what I got. A lot of words. Maybe watch this video a couple times. Love to hear what you guys are getting out there for a bag of ice melt applied, a ton of bulk salt applied. What are you guys doing for your sidewalk shoveling? What are you guys getting for a 1 acre site for your snow plow rate? That's with a standard 9'2" Boss plow. Can do about an acre and a quarter per hour. That's some pretty good productivity rates. A lot of you guys are wondering, where do you get that $245 base rate for a snow plow push? That actually comes from knowing our numbers and the Know Your Numbers calculator, that tool that we made available to you guys here in the spring at lawnchpreneuracademy.com. We used a multiple overhead recovery system to get our $80 per man hour rate for our lawn and landscaping business, but we went to a single overhead recovery system, i.e. plowing and salt only, in a 4-month window to recover the overhead for this portion of the business. That production rate is going to triple to $245 an hour, because there's less time and labor to recoup our overhead compared to the summer when we've got hundreds, if not thousands of man hours versus very, very small window to make that money back in the winter, if that makes some sense for you guys. If you guys need snowplow contracts, check them out at lawnchpreneuracademy.com. Like I said, one of the most popular resources that we have there available for you guys, $99. You download them. They're very, very streamlined. Fill in the red with your company's info, maybe pass it through your legal department, your legal team, or maybe a family lawyer, so they can help make sure that it's working for your state, province, Canada, America, all that mess. But then also make sure that you guys change everything out of red to your company's info and your company's name. They're plug and play. Hey, if an HOA or a retail restaurant calls you tomorrow and you don't have snowplow contracts, these would be a great resource for you guys to help you start landing that snow work and start locking that stuff down now. We've been having conversations to get our snow work lined up since early part of July. Snow is right around the corner. Don't delay. So make sure you guys are bidding those sites. Get the conversation going with the decision maker. And if you guys want any more information, I'll leave that podcast link here down in the description down below. We'll expand upon this for another 45 minutes outside of this video. All right, that's what I got for you guys in today's video. A little bit more of an X's and O's. Hope you guys appreciate this kind of stuff. We look forward to catching up with you guys here on the next one.
And if you want to watch the video that accompanies the audio you just heard, it is called How We Price Snow Removal, 100% transparent pricing. There will be a link in the description. And when we come back from this short break, Brian's going to be sharing a platform that has helped his snow removal business. The info that you're about to learn will revolutionize your budgeting, estimating, scheduling, and invoicing. Stick around. Winter is fast approaching, and if there's one thing lawn care pros know, preparation is key. Whether you're handling commercial or residential services, securing your snowplow contracts now is crucial. And here's the best part. Our contracts have just been updated. Locking in your contracts now stabilizes your winter income, letting you plan and allocate resources with confidence. Get immediate access to the Snowplow Contracts Bundle training program today at LaunchpreneurAcademy.com. Our updated structured contracts show that you're serious about delivering top-notch service. Whether it's a commercial property or a residential driveway, you're giving clients the peace of mind they deserve. And of course, stay ahead of the competition. With flexible contract options, per push or seasonal prepay, you'll be the go-to provider in your area. Serving large businesses or individual homeowners, we've got you covered. If you're ready to elevate your winter services, head over to Launchpreneur Academy and secure your updated snow plowing contracts now. And yes, they include free lifetime updates. Don't wait for the first snowflake. Get started today and make this your most profitable winter yet. Visit LaunchpreneurAcademy.com and we've provided a link in the podcast description.
All right, guys, we're going to hop on in here today. Super excited about giving you guys a behind the scenes, under the hood look at LMN. Really quickly, before we get too far into this thing, I got to say a big shout out and thank you here to my friend joining us today, Steve Bennett, the Director of Customer Experience. And I feel like customer excellence because that's what these guys are all about. Steven, how you doing today?
I'm great, Brian, and I'm excited to show everybody under the hood here.
Love it, brother. Love it. So we've been working on our snow templates here for about the last 2 or 3 weeks. We've had a couple 1-hour sessions. That is an extra that comes with LMN if you decide to opt in for their accelerator, their growth coaches is what I like to call it or think about it. But you know what? Long story short, we're going to show you guys an under the hood look of how we're bidding and pricing our snow work. I'm really excited about just giving this away to you guys. LMN has been such a blessing in our business the last 4 or 5 months. We've got 4 or 5 months of end of month under our belt. We've got the spring rush, our summer bidding. Obviously, we're talking snow today. So we're really pumped about what the LMN platform has opened up for us. A lot of you guys have seen and heard me talking about it, but I just want to give you guys more of a detailed look about how we're coming up with our numbers. Obviously, a lot of you guys are looking at LMN, thinking about graduating to this platform from some of the other softwares out there. I'm a little biased at this point. I think it's one of the best investments we've ever made into our business. So I'm pretty pumped up about it. But if you guys want to see how the snow side of the platform works, we're going to be breaking down a lot of numbers here for you guys over the next 10 to 20 minutes. And I couldn't do it without Steven, Michael, their whole team. They've got so many great folks that are part of the LMN platform to really make sure that it's working for you. So that being said, we're going to kind of jump into it here. Steven, before we go, again, too far, maybe if you want to give the folks your background, because I know you're really passionate about LMN, the platform, and really helping people grow and succeed with their business. So what's your background, brother?
Yeah, absolutely. So Director of Customer Success here at LMN. Been here for several years now. We have a large team of account managers and growth accelerators. And we literally spend our days working with customers just like yourself, Brian. Different sizes, doesn't matter. And we help them. We help them budget. We help them estimate. We help them schedule. We help them invoice clients. Cash flow is a huge problem. But knowing your business and knowing whether or not you're actually making profit is the number one thing that we run into. So we love helping customers overcome those obstacles each and every day.
Love it. Love it. All right. So I'm going to basically just volley it over to you. You know what's going on here. I'm very, very pumped about this. As soon as we're off this call, I am running through the next 25 estimates myself to get these out to our snow clients. We're trying to get a little earlier every year. Obviously, this time of year, it's August, so we're getting this out as fast as we can. But I'm telling you guys what, whether you are just hopping on the LMN now or you may be getting your ducks in a row for next year, refer back to this video, save it, copy it, do whatever you got to do. This is just something we're putting out there to the community and to the ethos for you guys to reference back later. And of course, somebody will personalize it for you once you're with LMN down the road. But for right now, Steven, there's a lot here to unpack. We're going to try to keep it as short and sweet as possible. But I'm telling you what, this is some of the most fun conversation I've ever had working on the in the business, right? Or on the business, not just in the business. So what are we looking at here with our account? What's in front of us right here?
Yeah, so this is, first of all, you're completely right. I wanted to touch on that. This is the time to talk snow. Our team is busy talking with people every day right now about snow. I mean, we're in the thick of like the hottest weather of the year, but there's no better time to start bidding snow. Yeah, so what we're looking at here is a snow estimate or snow template of an estimate. This one here is for snow flat rate seasonal billing. To ensure that we were making profit, what we did was we had broken out each line item here, each service that you complete, to ensure that each line item was profitable. And then to simplify it, at the bottom there, we added a flat rate seasonal line item as well, just to make sure that we can present the customer a nice, clean proposal. So, I mean, we can go through each line item, but essentially what we're looking at here is your average snowfall accumulation for where you're located, Brian. You have generally on average 15 snow events. We've broken those events down between depths. So we have 10 visits for our snow accumulation of 1.3 to 5 inches. And then you can see that we have a breakdown of 2, 2, and 1 for the increasing accumulations there. We've also separated the snow plowing from the snow shoveling accumulations, but the visit counts remain the same. As you know, in your snow business, you're going to plow 10 times for that one depth, and you're also dropping your snow shovelers off at the same time. So we broke down your visits based on your historical data and those rates for your frequencies for the visits as well.
There you go.
So happy to jump into some of these line items, and then obviously talking about the total cost to break even, and then the total price that we're charging our customers.
Well, one thing I was going to say, by the time we're done, we want to show you guys what it looks like presenting a bid to a customer for a per push and, just time and material. And then also another account that's more of like a flat rate seasonal price. We get a lot of those these days. I know you guys do as well. Before we do, I think we talked about how did we actually get here? And I think we're going to show a little under the hood about some of the numbers, like where you see all this broken down in the template. Like, how do you get to these numbers? So do we still have those tabs pull up? Are we still going to be able to rock through that?
Yes, absolutely. So yeah, to your point, we want to talk about where each one of these line items comes from. So if I just dig into one real quick, we'll look at the 1.5. We'll see that we have a snowplow operator here and a snow truck and salter. So to Brian's point, how do we get to these numbers? Well, in LMN, we actually have to create what we call a price list. So the first thing we start with is a budget. I'm not going to bring up Brian's budget in here, but we do definitely work with customers on their budget, and we establish something referred to as an overhead. We need to understand overhead costs, those things that you can't directly charge your customers for, whether it's shop rent or leasing payments, your cell phone bills, HR people, secretaries, all that stuff that kind of goes in behind the scenes that can't get charged to a customer. So what we do is we find out your base cost or wage for your employees. We establish a break even when we factor in all those overhead costs, and then we establish a new rate per hour. We do the same thing for an equipment breakdown. So here I'm going to give an example of what the snowplow truck and salter looks like. You'll see we get a cost per hour, a cost per day. We have our overhead markup to adjust for all those items that we can't directly charge our clients for. We would stack that on top of a profit percentage, and then we come in with our new rates. But to take it one step further, Brian, and show your followers under the hood, I'm going to show them how this cost calculator breakdown happens. All right, so on the next tab here, you'll see that we go into the granular details of each piece of equipment. We establish the forecastable billable hours per year, how many hours are in your typical snow event day, the total price to replace this piece of equipment, any market financing conditions, how long you expect that plows or piece of equipment's life expectancy to be, and the resale value at the end of that. To take it even further, we look at the annual maintenance and cost to repair this piece of equipment, the insurance it costs to put it on the road, and the annual licensing fees. And then we also want to establish how many gallons it uses per day and what the average fuel cost is to give you the most accurate pricing possible for this piece of equipment to ensure that you're recuperating that on the estimate plus those overhead costs. All right, awesome. So I'm just going to hit back here to go back. So once we establish that, again, like I said, we establish that base cost per hour. We stack those overhead markup percentages and the profit percent on there, and we come in with that new daily rate. But in the salt one here, we have it that is $100, I think, per ton is what we established. And then again, we're covering that overhead markup, which is 10%. And then we've established a healthy profit percent on our salt application as well.
Awesome. So a lot of folks, when we have our previous
commercial snow contracts that we have available at Launchpreneur Academy. And we're coming up with our base rates of that $245 per push for like a 1 acre site, which about takes an hour. A lot of folks are asking, how do we get to that number? And that's based on everything you're showing here. Now, we were pretty accurate with our snow pricing because we had our own Know Your Number calculator that we came out with a while ago. That's also on Launchpreneur Academy. So if you guys aren't upgrading to an LMN and you're trying to get at least your contracts figured out or know what your man hour rate is and some of your equipment costs, you can use those other resources. But this specifically is that calculator times 100. That's why I'm so in love with the LMN platform. And it's hard for me to not be so excited, quote unquote, because I don't want to oversell this thing. But when folks are asking, but what do you charge, or what are you getting for a lawn, or how much to bush hog, or how much for an acre of snow, or what are you charging per ton applied? Like the answer, it's always tough because every business is different because everybody's prices, costs, overhead are different. So what you guys can hopefully see, and if again you can review this webinar later, is this is our costs based on our budget, our desired profit, what our production rates are, and so much more. And that's where you're getting this accurate number for. And we are at that 245 per 1 acre per an hour site for a base scrape on 1.5 to 3 inches. But this hopefully just show you guys like where that number is being derived from. Does that make sense, Stephen? That's where we're pulling that for our estimate.
Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right. So once we have all that, then we started to build our template. And then where do we go from here?
Yes, absolutely. So we did that for, again, each one of those depths that you had set based on your estimate and historical data. So we did the 10, 2, 2, and 1, applying those exact same rates to each one, which is why we see a bit of an increase in cost depending on the level of complexity or the added time to do some of these events. And yeah, so once we created all of these with your set prices based on your overhead calculator, your overhead recovery, and your price list items, we came out with a total of 11,414.85 with a healthy profit percent of 52.5. So breaking down these numbers across the top of our screen, we saw the total cost to do this work, which is 4473.15. The break even is incorporating the overhead recovery, so taking this estimate and then adding on all those overhead markups in order to ensure that we pay for all that stuff behind the scenes. And then you've got your total price, which is what is passed on to the customer with a 52.5% net profit.
There you go. There you go. And this, again, was based on a 45-inch market with 15 visits and then about 2 times as many for salt runs. So that's where you'll see the number with 30 bulk salt applications, 30 bags of ice melt. You'll probably end up using a little bit less ice melt and probably a little bit less tonnage of salt on a 1 acre parking lot. So we do have some padded stats in here, just a little inside baseball for you guys. But what we have broken down here is a price visit, and then we'll also get to, in a second here, a flat rate seasonal price. And we'll show you guys how LMN can break down either option, because one of the things I love with LMN is these seminars and webinars that Mark Bradley does. I think it's every Wednesday at like 12:30, and I'm sure the times shift and change, but I get the newsletter and the email saying what's going on with next week's webinar, and I'm on as many of those as I can. And the one thing Mark Bradley said, hey, like, what does the customer want? Do they want per push? Do they want a flat rate seasonal? Obviously, we're going to work the proposals and the contracts that work for us and also work for the clients. So we'll give them, almost whatever they want as long as everybody wins. But that's what I wanted to make sure that I had here with my estimates and my templates was, hey, Stephen, I need to make sure that I can bid per push or per flat rate seasonal. So we'll show you guys how all that's broken down, because you can do both with LMN, obviously.
Yep, absolutely. And just to take it one step further, Brian, I know we wanted to show how we use the prod rates and the site measurement tool.
Yeah.
So if you want, we can just show that real quick as well. So absolutely. So in order to ensure that we are designating the correct amount of time on a site here, we have what we call a prod rate calculator. We're able to select from some predetermined rates or some industry averages, but you're also able to create your own production rates with the help of your growth accelerators. Absolutely show you how to do those. But let's go to the CRM level and show the customers where this calculation kind of comes from. So when we're in the site measurement tool within a customer CRM contact, we can actually see here we're able to drop little pins around the lot like you've done here. To get the exact measurement or close to of 0.73 acres. We're then able to use that number. And you can store as many of these measurements as you want in a customer CRM profile. So if you do their parking lots, And then you maybe do their lawns during the summer. You can easily use the same tool to measure both parts of their job site. But we're able to plug that information into one of these 3 prod rates at 0.73 acres, and it will give you the designated amount of time, rounding it to the nearest, and that it would think that it would take to do this site. So here it would say 0.66 hours.
Yeah.
All right. But you're able to use that to help define exactly how long a customer's job site would take you.
I love it. And of course, there's a lot more that goes into some of these numbers with, coming back for multiple visits or different crews or sidewalk crews, or obviously if you're shoveling. So again, you really do have to dial a lot of this in, but we're just trying to give you guys the macro today. But it's so cool, that measuring tool. I've literally fielded probably, Stephen, 2 to 3 questions a week on Instagram. How are we measuring, what's getting bulk salt applied? And then how do you get your numbers? And I'm like, well, you have to measure your sites, and then you have to run them through your numbers. And it's all right in front of you. I'll tell you guys, like, I don't want to be overzealous again with LMN. There's a lot here. I probably have about 30 to 50 hours in with folks like Steven and the other poor souls that came before him, because I bother the heck out of these guys. But I really do want to know how to run an effective business, because I don't want to just start trying to grow to a multi-million-dollar company with bad info, bad data, bad numbers, because all we're going to scale, if you have problems at a small level and you scale, you're just going to have problems at a larger level. And so I really wanted to do my best. It's very uncomfortable. It takes a lot of time, to learn and to teach an old dog new tricks as I've migrated over to LMN this last 5 or 6 months. But oh my gosh, does it give me the confidence, I guess, Stephen, to really be able to tackle new bids and quotes and to grow the company. It motivates me now, because now I know we're bidding and billing and pricing our work profitably. And it really is just an entire game changer for us. I hate to use the analogy of game changer because that's what everybody says, but it is the truth. And now we can have the confidence in bidding the sites to grow. And really, folks, I'm just telling you straight up, like, there's no more guessing. And again, my pastor, he said once, Stephen, he goes, this is about his faith walk, but he said, if you're 99% sure, you're 100% unsure. And I said, and I have that same proposal or question that I put out to some of my friends out there, whether you're using pen and paper or maybe a different CRM that doesn't have all these features and benefits. And I'm thinking to myself, how do you know? Like, if you're not going to bet the farm and you're 99% sure and you're 100% unsure, quote unquote, then let's all graduate, let's learn, let's grow, and let's take the guesswork out of this. And for me, everything you see in front of us is what we're running our business on, and it's working. It's so cool. And this is what the big boys know, and this is what the big guys take time to do. And again, if you guys are growing past $250,000, $500,000 business, check out I think it's the business starter, level. It's like a couple $100 a month. It's very reasonable. And I would encourage you guys to give it a fair shake and a fair demo. So again, I don't want to just sound like it's an LMN pitch here, because I know that's not what we wanted to do today, but I'm just telling you guys honestly, like, take the guesswork out of growth.
Amazing. Yeah, I love that. And to your point earlier, how quickly can we take this estimate and use it for future bids? We absolutely can. That's the power of LMN. We can import this template into any CRM contact. And we can also flip these over from per visit or per push billing to per season. So depending on how you want to present it to a customer. So in this case, we're presenting it as a contract bid with 5 equal payments. So flat rate seasonal billing, super simple. We'll be able to capture the amounts here as determined, and then we'll be able to send this over to the customer. We would just kind of toggle a couple things around to be able to do so. Or if we take this off, we can present it to the customer, if we were to flip it the other way, we can present these as per visits, or I can hide them all and then just present the flat rate seasonal billing. And then that's why we'll see the numbers show up here as the 5 equal payments. So depending on how the customer wants to do it. And I know that every company does it differently. And it's why LMN's so versatile. We can help customers who want to do the flat rate seasonal billing, or for folks who want to do the per push, or mixed markets who do both.
Hey, Stephen, question for you. A little bit of an audible. We did not talk about this. Hopefully I don't throw a wrench into this bad boy. But can we go to the analysis tab? Would we be able to see our man hour rate and the price? And I know this is a big thing that Mark showed at the masterminds over last winter. And he was talking about how they were able to get their man hour rate for the landscaping, the mowing, and really their snow. He was talking to me some of their man hour rates for snow were just out of this world. And he goes, it was just such a phenomenal conversation. But this is right here, the meat and potatoes. This is what most people need to really dial in, is that man hour rate.
Absolutely. Yeah. So it's going to be the budget revenue per hour. I think the one that he refers to a lot is revenue per man hour as well. And absolutely, definitely throwing a monkey wrench into the presentation here, Brian. But I wouldn't expect anything less out of you. You always keep me on my toes, and I love it. Right. But absolutely, you can pivot to this analysis. I think this is a great breakdown and something great to show as well. So on the top left-hand corner, just real quick, you're also going to see exactly how much money you're recovering from your overhead here. That's going to be based on the amount of hours allocated to this job. You'll see those cost ratios broken down in percentages here in the middle box. The profit summary, I mean, there's a 57% GP, and then we got a 52.1% net profit, which is what matters there. You'll see the same stats broken down into bar graphs in the bottom. And then the meat and potatoes that Brian's referring to is this bottom right-hand box. So when you do set up a budget, your budget's going to give you a budgeted revenue per hour, where it's kind of guiding you, saying like, hey, this is what you should try to strive for. What's great about this estimate here is that it's achieving $951 revenue per hour over the budget's revenue per hour suggestion. And then you're seeing that the estimate throughput. For those that don't know what throughput is, you can double check your budget screen, and it does run you through that breakdown as well. But this is a great example of a budget or an estimate that's generating a ton of revenue.
That's awesome. Then and very profitable too. And most of the big guys I know out there are trying to run 50% profit with their snow and salt. So, and I'm not sure if that's mixed or whatnot, but that's a pretty healthy profit. So we'll take that all day.
Absolutely. But yeah, that's essentially it. Not sure if you want me to show the actual what the contract would look like. I think this one is set up to the flat rate seasonal.
Could you show them the per push, and we can do the per visit price? I think that's probably what most folks will be doing. I think that'll look pretty
good. Absolutely.
And this is the actual proposal that gets sent out to the client. So this is what they're going to see from their portal from LMN that gets sent out to them.
Yep, we're just going to tidy up the pricing options here. So 1 second. I'm just going to hit pricing options. The good thing about LMN is it allows you to hide and show exactly what you'd like to show on these items.
Yeah, so if you see this here, we have our per visit price, and that way the office manager or decision maker is able to see exactly what we're charging per service rendered, and they've got the price list right in front of them.
And again, we can go back, make those quick pivots, and then present it as a flat rate seasonal push as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's very refreshing to be able to tackle the different templates here in just a few minutes, because like Stephen was saying earlier, if you want to copy this template, and that's the idea, and then just start bidding out new sites or new bids and quotes that come on in, you can now set an estimate out the door in 10 minutes once you measure the site, have your production rates, and then send over a professional proposal. And it's, again, a lot of the work with LMN is on the front end. You have to set up the platform, but then you can start stamping these things out, these templates and these bids out in no time. And to me, now we have a well-oiled machine for growth. And that's, again, for me, what it's all about as we aspire to grow into the next couple of years. So it's awesome. Well, anything else that we're missing here, Stephen? But if not, I think we'll probably land the plane here. Hopefully this is just a quick peek under the hood. I will invite you guys, actually, if you want to check out our budget. We probably won't go into that here today, but we did go into that earlier in March with Mark Bradley, the founder, CEO of LMN. He spent about an hour and a half webinar with us on a live stream, showing you guys how we onboarded, showing you an under the hood look at all of our budget, our numbers. Stephen was showing you some of the costs with our trucks and our plows. But if you want to see everything else that is obviously factored into the budget, that is all on that previous webinar that we did this spring. So maybe I'll leave a card or an end screen, and you guys can check that out. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to shoot me an email, DM me on Instagram, whatever is your way of getting in touch. And I'm just an open book here. I just want to help you guys out and make sure you feel like you have enough data, information, and education to make the switch or whatever you want to do here with LMN in the future. But that being said, if you get LMN already and you're looking to get in touch with an accelerator, coach, like somebody like Steven, and get your snow figured out, now's the time to do it. But I'm just really pumped and really excited about everything that LMN's unlocking for us. I could not even imagine Steven not having something like this. I don't know how we did it for as long as we did, And I will tell you, the way we did it was guessing. We were 80 cents on the dollar, then 90 cents on the dollar. But today, everything is very dialed in, and I'm very, very pumped up about it, as you can imagine. So thank you so much to all of your hardworking colleagues and yourself that have helped me piece this thing together. Shout out to Mark for just investing into and building a platform like this to help us all grow. He's obviously built a very successful company and is a legend in the industry. So it's so cool to be able to utilize tools like this to grow our businesses now down the pike. So Steven, anything else you want to share with these guys? I'll give it open mic, quote unquote. You can
real quick. I don't have an Instagram handle. You won't be able to follow me on there. But if you have any questions, you could find me on LinkedIn. You just look up LMN, look up Steve Bennett. You'll find me there. You can send me a message on LinkedIn. Happy to help folks out as well.
Love it. And if you guys want to schedule a demo with LMN, we'll leave links in the description. You guys can check all that out as well. If you guys do sign up, mention code Brian. They'll have some great perks and some great pricing with that comes along with that. And I think we get a referral or something like that bonus. So thank you guys for supporting what we do with all that, with affiliate links and all that other mess. So thank you guys in advance. But again, if I can do anything to help you guys grow and just to get a better handle on your business and take the guesswork out of growth, let's do it. Let's all win together. What's the old line? A rising tide raises all ships. So I'm here to help you guys grow as we're growing, doing the same thing as you guys. So that's I'll land the plane. Steven, thanks so much for the time, brother. Super appreciate all the help.
Appreciate you, Brian. It's been a journey and a lot of fun. So thank you.
There you go. All right, guys. Well, hey, thanks so much for watching. If this was helpful, drop a like or a heart or a comment, whatever you guys want to do. And any questions, or maybe you are using LMN, give me some feedback. How's your experience so far? Hopefully you guys are having a great time with it. And we'll catch up with you guys here on the next one.
Obviously, the video to that audio is one that you will want to watch. It's called Expert Snow Removal Pricing Secrets Revealed. Link in the show notes. And if you've yet to subscribe to the Brian's Lawn Maintenance YouTube channel, I recommend that you do that. I'm Mr. Producer. Brian returns on Monday. Have a wonderful weekend and check out all the resources we are making available in the podcast description and at Lawntrepreneur Academy.
This is your invitation to Lawntrepreneur Academy Live 2024 on November 2nd in Novi, Michigan. Prepare for a dynamic day filled with expert sessions on cash flow management, business automation, client retention, marketing strategies, and more. Our stellar lineup of speakers includes Sam Rankin, Pat Murray, Ken Deemer, Brian Fullerton, Sam Gemble, Mark Bradley, Jeff Joyner. Connect with industry peers, win fantastic giveaways, and elevate your business. Don't miss our Friday night mixer for some great networking and fun. Enhance your experience with our exclusive Sunday masterclass sessions on November 3rd, featuring Jeff Joyner, Mark Bradley, and Sam Gemble. These intensive 3-hour classes are limited to 20 seats each, offering you tailored advice from the pros. Secure your tickets for Saturday at $249 until September 17th. Then, the price jumps to $297. Visit LawnTrepreneurAcademy.com to register for Saturday and reserve your masterclass spot for Sunday. This is your opportunity to grow and network with the best in the industry.
Thanks for taking the time to listen to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast with Brian Fullerton. We hope you enjoyed this production. If so, please consider leaving us a 5-star review for the show. While the techniques and ideas presented here are designed to help you grow a more successful and profitable business, no one can guarantee these results for you. We want to emphasize that entrepreneurship is not easy, and the ideas presented here are just the opinions of Brian Fullerton and his respective guests. No one can guarantee success for you. That being said, we hope the ideas presented here help you and motivate you to go on out there and crush it with your own business.
Fullerton Unfiltered Podcast.
Thanks for listening, and we hope to see you on the next episode.
This has been a Brian Fullerton and Mr. Producer production.